And in this video, we're going to cover all the best Western Orlando suburbs, Southern Lake County, Western Orange County, like Clermont, Winter Garden, Horizons West, Mount Dora, Minneola, Groveland. And as always, this information is on the house. Now stick with me on this, because one of these towns is probably the most underrated place that I always tell my clients about. And almost nobody ever looks in this area, but I'll get there. First, let's get the why out of the way. Why Western Orlando? Simple. This is where your money goes further. The same paycheck that buys you a townhome closer to the metro area buys you a house with a yard out here. You get more land, more space, that small town feel a lot of folks are actually moving to Florida for right now. And you're still close enough to the parks and the airport and all that it doesn't feel like you moved in the middle of nowhere. The trade-off is definitely the commute. And I'll be honest with you about that as we go through this video. But first, I'm going to start with the names you probably have already heard of. I'll go through them quickly, and then I'll spend real time on some hidden gems, because that's where the value is really hiding. First up, Winter Garden. This is the crown jewel of the West Side, and everybody knows it. Brick Street downtown, a Saturday's farmers market that actually people turn out for, restaurants people drive in for, and the West Orange Trail running through the city. Gorgeous. The catch? You are paying for it. Typical home value is sitting around $570,000 right now, and the closer you get to that downtown, the higher it climbs, and it can climb high. If the budget's there, it's wonderful. But for a lot of people, it's the goal, not the starting point. Now there's Horizon West, right next door. Southwest Orange County, butting up to Disney. This is the master planned one, a string of villages, each built around its own town center and park. Schools that rank near the top of the county. It's newer, it's polished, and families love it. The median's up there in the 500s, though builders are still tossing in rate buy downs and closing costs, helping move inventory, so there's a little room to negotiate right now if you're quick. Now Clermont, this is where I live. Here's where we cross into Lake County and the land starts to roll. Actual hills, which you almost never see in Florida. The chain of lakes, the South Lake Trail, a cute little downtown on the water, and the price is friendlier than its Orange County neighbors, around $427,000 these days. And you can definitely find lower or higher. The downside is traffic. Highway 50 at rush hour will test your patience, and some of the newer subdivisions sit a ways away from the good stuff. So out here, the specific neighborhood matters a lot. And those three, they are great. They're solid. There's a reason why they are the big names in the Western Orlando area. But here's the thing. If you've only ever watched the relocation videos from out of state, those are the only three you'll ever hear about. And that's a shame. These right next to them are towns that give you most of the same lifestyle for a good chunk less money. These are the ones I send my budget-conscious buyers to look at first, and almost none of them have these on their radar before we talk. So let me give you three you've probably never searched for, and one of them is the one I teased at the top. Next on this list, Minneola. If Clermont and Minneola were people, they'd be next-door neighbors who borrow each other's tools. They basically blend together up there on the north side of the lakes. Minneola is a little smaller, a little quieter, and it's one of the fastest growing spots in the county because young families keep discovering it. You're looking at medium right now around $460,000, which gets you newer construction without the Orange County price tag. And you're 40 minutes from the parks. For a family that wants new and wants a yard, this is a really easy one to fall in love with. Then there's Groveland. Now we're getting into real value territory. Groveland sits just southwest of Clermont, and the median here is around only $376,000. Read that again, because that's a Lake County number that buys you a whole lot of house. It's still got that growing, half-roll, half-new subdivision feel. You'll pass pasture on the way to the grocery store, and the trade-off is you're a bit further out, so you're building your life around the commute. But if your number one priority is getting the most home for your dollar without leaving the Orlando orbit, Groveland belongs on your list, and almost never makes it into anyone else's. And here's the one I've been teasing, Mount Dora. Now technically, this one's up to the north, about 40 minutes from Orlando, so it's a little off the western line. I've been drawing, but I had to include it because it's a favorite of mine and there's nothing else like it in Central Florida. They call it the New England of the South, and when you see it, you get why. It sits up on rolling hills. The high point is 184 feet, which is around here is practically counts as a mountain, hence Mount Dora, wrapped in 100-year-old oak trees overlooking Lake Dora. The downtown is basically a postcard. Antique shops, art galleries, which are some of my favorites. I have a friend that has a booth there. Little cafes, festivals, basically every other weekend. The Arts Festival pulls people in from all over the state. And here's the part that matters for 2026. Mount Dora is inland and up on elevation. It's become a real draw for buyers who are very nervous about those coastal insurance and storm risks. You're tucked away from all of that, and the median? Only around $383,000. For that kind of charm and that kind of peace of mind, it's genuinely a very surprising number in this market. It's my sleeper pick, and I'll stand by it. And a few quick honorable mentions before we wrap up. The West, it's got depth. Oakland, tiny, leafy, tucked right against Winter Garden with the same charm, around $545,000. Montverde, small, hilly, and for families, it's home to the famous Montverde Academy, a little more prestige with a median near $584,000. And if you want the lowest entry point that's still close in proximity, look at Apopka up northwest Orange County, around $391,000, or Ocoee right beside it in the low 400s. Lots of doors into this market depending on your budget. So that's the west side suburbs to look at. The famous ones in Winter Garden, Horizons West, and my personal favorite Clermont, and the under-the-radar values in Minneola, Groveland, and especially Mount Dora. A different right answer for every budget. But a list is only worth so much until you line it up against your own situation, your price range, your timeline, how far you're really willing to drive. So I do all that legwork for you. I put together a moving to Clermont and Orlando playbook that helps you get organized. So go ahead, scan the QR code on the screen or hit the link in the description below. Or if you'd rather just talk to me, call or text me directly at 321-439-4277. That's me on my actual phone. Number's right on your screen now.
And as always, this information is on the house.